Welcome back to the Human Resource Academy channel, guys, with yet another educational video on some of the most important aspects of the human resource management discipline. We hope you enjoy it. In today's video, we are going to talk about yet another important human resource management concept, which is the concept of competency. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, for most of you who have already tried to create or have their own CV, probably by now you have realized that as part of your content, you would often have words such as knowledge, as in marketing or finance and accounting knowledge, and skill or skills. So these two words, knowledge and skill or skills, would very often be part of your previous work experience description. Now, what you have to realize that while knowledge is certainly very, very important, practical skills is also extremely important. Now, in fact, many people believe that practical skills, so skills that you learn through doing things, so learning by doing, are actually much more relevant in comparison with theoretical knowledge. So that's usually knowledge you gain through reading books, attending courses, and so forth. The truth, however, is that there is a ultimate skill or knowledge, which in fact is both things put together, which is known as competency. So this is the combination of having the theoretical knowledge about something as well as the practical experience or the practical skills. In fact, most, not to say all of the top employers today, all of the top competency, so aren't looking just for knowledge or practical skills. They are looking for both. They are looking for competencies. Next, we want to discuss the main types of competencies. Now, according to most experts, organizations tend to develop two types of competencies, either generic or job specific. Now, generic comes from the word general or universal competencies. For instance, coaching can be one of those universal or generic competencies. Team building is also one of these competencies. Overall, what most books say is that generic competencies are meant to be developed as part of fitting the organizational culture. So they're extremely important to the overall organizational culture. Now, on the other hand, we have a second type of competencies, which is the so-called job specific. In simple English, these are competencies that are very unique to a particular job. For instance, technical expertise or business expertise. Technical expertise may you need, for instance, if you are applying for an engineering job. A business expertise, on the other hand, of course, would be an expertise that you will need if you are applying for a job that is either in sales, marketing, finance and accounting, and so forth. Importantly, we also have to say that competencies must be demonstrable. So competencies should be such that we can actually show them to our colleagues, our bosses, and so forth. They also should be utilizable, which means that these competencies can be used at a particular time in a particular situation. They must be also measurable. This is also very important, especially to human resource management specialists, because when it comes to performance evaluation, what we usually do is we are trying to assess certain competencies. And finally, they need to be achievable. So they need to be realistic. Competency, so knowledge and skills that actually is achievable, we can learn or acquire in a certain period of time. Next, it is important to say a few words about the importance of competency as part of the human resource management discipline. Now, overall, the concept of competency is at the heart of HRM. Why? Because it provides the basis for integrating key human resource activities, for instance, recruitment or training and development. You also need to remember that the concept of competency is actually an integral part of the so-called job analysis process. Now, in a previous video, we already defined what job analysis is. But just to remind you, job analysis is the process of determining or defining the requirements that are directly related to the job outcomes, responsibilities, tasks, functions, and few other things. In essence, part of the job analysis process seeks to define the so-called job competencies. This is exactly how these two are related. Moreover, if we somehow fail to define the right or matching competencies for a particular job, this will affect our company in a negative way, since job analysis, as we already mentioned, is vital to all other human resource management processes such as recruitment, training and development, and so forth. Now, let us look at a number of examples related to competencies. In this particular slide, I would like to show you the three main competencies that employers seek in graduate students. The data is based on a study done a couple of years ago and later on published by Forbes. So the first competency, key competency for graduate students, is the adaptability to a changing environment. Now, in a number of previous videos, I emphasized that today we live in a very dynamic, fast-paced business world. This is exactly why companies today are looking for people who have the ability to adapt to a changing environment. Next is the so-called business management skills. Now, whether you are studying for a physician or a chemist or even an engineer, business and management skills are becoming an integral part of almost every job. This is this is exactly why there is no surprise that the so-called MBA or Masters of Business Administration programs have become so popular among people who have majored in fields outside business and management. Finally, is the so-called accountability skill. Now, accountability in simple English is the ability to take responsibility. For most bachelor's or even master's degree students, this is a very important competency to acquire, as most of the employers today realize that young people, especially those who are just graduating and finishing their bachelor's degree, lack the skill of taking responsibility. So whether you are a second, third year student or about to graduate, make sure that in the near future you do your best in order to acquire these three key competencies. In today's video, we try to define and analyze the importance of the concept of competency. So having said that, today's question is the following. It in fact relates directly to the previous slide, which discussed the three key competencies for graduate students, with one of them being adaptability to a changing environment. So our question for today is as follows. Is adaptability to a changing environment, one of the key competencies for graduate students, a generic or a job-specific competency? Now remember, competencies we divided in two types, generic or job-specific. So which one does adaptability to a changing environment belong to? We look forward to hearing from you. Make sure you comment in the comment section below. And thank you once again for watching. This is all for today, guys. Thank you once again for watching yet another video on the HRM Academy channel. Do not forget to follow us, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and of course, don't forget to click on the YouTube subscribe button so that you can stay up to date with the latest videos and other educational content that we will have for you in the near and far future.